Today I'm gonna explain Magnus blunders, and they get increasingly worse.
Playing Mr. Dropstone.
You're really playing the Karagan? No!
What just happened in this game? His opponent opened with the king's pawn and Magnus decided to play the Caro-Kann. His friend was super surprised that he decided to play this opening. The knight took. Now he decided to go one of the main line, which is knight f6. You can take this knight and double these two pawns. And now his opponent plays bishop d3. And I don't understand because, okay, I get it, this is a bullet. But I can take this pawn on d4. He went bishop d6 and he never thought again that his friend would play queen h5. This is just not a move that we play at professional level. We never see it. Here, the worst possible move that you can play is castle, because it's checkmate on the next move. And that's the reason why Magnus ripped his shirt. In this game, Magnus is playing with the black pieces. Richard Rapport, who's a very strong grandmaster, decides to play this for a simple reason, is that this pawn was attacked, so he's just defending it. Magnus plays this move, thinking the idea is to go here, to put another pressure, most likely, on this pawn. But he missed a very important tactic, because Richard here can sacrifice the rook against the knight, because when the rook takes, now there is a fork with the bishop. It's a check, attacking the rook, and you lose the game like that.
Is destined to become a queen.
And Nepomuk actually doing something very smart. He's using his king to blockade the motion, the range of White's bishop. And
look at that.
In this position, the pawn is going this way. This is an endgame. But for now, this rook is putting pressure on this, which means this rook couldn't actually just move somewhere, because this rook would just take the pawn. But the only thing you have to do in this kind of situation, because you have a grip basically on this pawn for now, the only thing you have to do is to not allow this rook to give a check, because after you would be able to push the pawn. But the problem is Magnus missed this and he played this, which allows a check. You see, you do not have time to actually grab this pawn now, because the king is in check. Magnus goes back, now he pushes, and there is nothing that can stop actually promotion to a queen on the next move, because the bishop controls the square. Magnus is playing with the black pieces and he played this, which is a blunder. When you look at it, I mean, it looks fine. You're putting pressure actually on this knight with the queen and the rook. It looks like a very logical move to actually put your knight in the center. Your knight in the center is super strong, but he missed a move that is pushing this pawn. The queen is basically totally overloaded, which means she's not going to be able to be on a square that actually protects this poor knight. The only square to go to is this one, so you stay and protect this knight. Artemiev pushes this one, and there is no way that you can keep protecting this poor knight in the center of the board. So Magnus decides to go for another variations, and he decides to sacrifice the rook for the knight. Artemiev takes the queen. Obviously Magnus takes the queen, but this is just a totally lost position. And let me tell you something, we lost with white way worse than this, you and me. We did. A rook is so much stronger than a knight, especially in this kind of endgames. What you have to do straight away, you put the rook on the 7th rank. This is the 7th rank, right? He pushes the pawn and now he goes here. You see what's the difference between a rook and a knight? It's the long range distance. With a rook, I can go on the other side of the board super fast. With this one, I'm limited. He can go here, he can go here. And, you know, he's lazy, this one. So that's the problem, and he cannot keep protecting this pawn. So he takes one pawn, now the knight jumps in to protect actually this pawn, but all Artemiev has to do is attack the knight, and now he plays the best move, which is rook here. Why? Because now he's cutting the knight. The knight cannot come here to put pressure on the pawn because of the rook. And if the knight actually comes here, all he has to do is just put the rook here, attacking the knight and attacking the pawn. And he's gonna take the pawn after. And these ones are going to queen. And this is the reason why Magnus resigned. This knight is under pressure. This bishop is attacking it and this rook. For now, there is no problem because two pieces are actually defending the knight. But there is something that Anish Giri has in this position. This is the bishop pair. He has two bishops versus a knight and a bishop. Having two bishops controls so many diagonals in open positions like this, which means when there is no pawn in the center, having the two bishops is a killer. Anish decided to play bishop a5, and you see what's happening. The rook cannot come here because there is the bishop. If the rook attacks this bishop, all Anish has to do is just play this, and this is a fork attacking both pieces. This rook would be forced to come back, but then the bishop gets exchanged against the rook, and this position, you can just push the pawn, the bishop goes there, and now you can do a discovery. You sacrifice the bishop against the pawn. You're asking me why? Because when you take this one, I'm gonna take this one. If the bishop moves, you know, you can just attack the pawns, and then all you have to do is just put the rook here, and it's gonna be totally deadly. But then, here, what if Magnus played rook d7, but he saw everything. Now, again, bishop b6, you're attacking actually this knight, but there is bishop d6. And this is where you and we would still play this position thinking, you know what, it's fine. My opponent is not gonna find the best move, so it's fine. But here there is an amazing move, which is this, bishop g2, and I'm sure that Magnus actually and Anish actually both saw this. The reason is you're trying to go here. You're also threatening a move like this. The rook comes and then you take this one. So it's extremely hard to play here. If let's say he can't do anything, by the way, just look at this position. This knight cannot move because there is a pin. This bishop cannot move because there would be a pin. There's nothing you can do here. So I just took a random move. Now it would be this. Even if you come with the knight, now I can just take the rook. Okay, so you can't. So you will have to lose one of the rooks. But what if he brings the king, for instance? Now you can give a check. The king comes back and now you come here. And you see what's happening. There is no way to actually defend this poor knight now. Three pieces are attacking. Then you take, and this is how the position would have ended. But obviously, he just resigned before. Magnus is human after all. He's the closest version we have to Stockfish. I'm pretty sure he made you feel better about your own blunders.